Hi everyone in stage 2, it's really nice to see you. And it's really nice to have this opportunity to connect with you and to share something with you in this video that I believe will be helpful for you as you're learning from home in lockdown. Now, we've been in lockdown for the last 2 months, and I don't know about you, I have found it enjoyable, but I've also found it a little bit difficult. I've enjoyed being able to go for a lot of bushwalks. I've enjoyed being able to spend more time with my family. I've enjoyed being able to drink hot chocolate on my balcony. But I've also found it difficult because the 3 jobs that I have changed so much. I've actually had to get really creative and grow my brain and learn some new things during this time. And I'm sure that's been the experience for you as well. Lockdown has been different, and you have had to persevere, and you've had to learn new things, and you've had to get creative with how you've been learning. So I think I want to say, great job, well done on doing that. So as we start today, I want to start with a bit of a fun game. We're going to do some tongue twisters together. So I'm going to read out the tongue twister nice and slow, and then you and I are going to say it together a little bit faster, all right? So are you ready? The first one is black background, brown background. So ready? After 3. 1, 2, 3. Black background, brown background, background, brown background, background. I can't say it. All right, I'm going to try again. Do you want to try again too? Ready? Black background, brown background, black background, brown background, black background, brown background. Yes. All right, the next one is red lolly, yellow lolly. 3 times, nice and fast. Red lolly, yellow lolly, red lolly, yellow lolly, red lolly, yellow lolly. Whew. All right, the next one, it's a little bit longer, a little bit trickier. Which switched the Swiss wristwatches? Ready? Which switched the Swiss wristwatches? Which switched the Swiss wristwatches? Which switched the Swiss wristwatches? Oh, that one was hard. Okay, last one. Can you can a can as a can a can a can? Okay, 3 times. Can you can a can as a can a can a can? Can you can a can as a can a can a can? Can you can a can as a can a can a can? I don't know about you, but I am out of breath. So let's talk today about how we can grow our brains and learn new things, just like these tongue twisters. How do you think that we can get better at saying these tongue twisters? Practice, of course. And maybe we need to say it a little bit more slowly and learn the words a little bit more clearly, so then we can put it together and say it fast, quickly. And then we can impress our parents with being able to say these amazing tongue twisters. So I'm wondering, have you had trouble just like these tongue twisters with learning something new at school, or maybe learning something new at home? What did you do to overcome the issue? What did you do to go from a place of, I can't do this, to I can do this? Now, the last time that I was with you guys, we were talking about some children in Paraguay who lived in a dump, and they learnt to make musical instruments and create an orchestra out of the rubbish that they found in the rubbish dump. These children, we learnt, had a growth mindset, and they were able to do something that everybody thought was impossible. They did this through working hard, they encouraged themselves, and they encouraged each other to never give up. Now, a word that I want to use for this is determination. What is determination? Simply, determination is keeping on going and never giving up. Just like our tongue twisters, we need to be determined and put the effort in and the practice in to be able to get them right. I wonder, does anyone know more than 1 language? Have you ever tried to learn another language? Now, about 4 years ago, my family and I moved to Hurstville. And Hurstville is quite a large community of Chinese people. So a lot of the people in my area speak Chinese, and especially a lot of the people that I know, a lot of the family friends that I know, and from my other job, I know a lot of Chinese people. Most of the people in my world speak Chinese. And so what that means for me is when I'm communicating with these people, I can't just use English. It's really important that I learn to speak some of the Chinese Mandarin language as well. And so For the last 4 years, I have actually been learning how to speak Chinese Mandarin, and I've discovered that it's not so easy. Many times this means me getting it wrong, me mixing up my words and having a tongue twister to be able to communicate with them. But I'm not giving up. I am choosing to learn how to speak Chinese Mandarin so that I can communicate much better with the friends that I have in my world. Let me give you an example. I want to say to you, it's nice to see you. So if I was to speak Chinese Mandarin, I would say, 我很高兴见到你. Which I'm sure the tones that I've just used are probably not right, but I think if anyone out there who speaks Chinese heard that, they might hear that I said, it's nice to see you, or it's nice to see your face. So learning something new takes practice. So today, I want us to listen to a story about a girl called Ellie who had to learn another language, Spanish, quite quickly because her family suddenly moved to Mexico. We're going to listen to the challenges that she faced. We're going to listen to how she overcame these challenges. Now, we're going to be listening to the story, so we're not going to be watching it. As you're listening, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to take your hands like this and I want you to make a fist and open it. Fist and open it for the whole time that Ellie is telling her story. If you are up for a different challenge than this one, you can actually stand up and stand on one foot, but you have to stay standing on that one foot for the whole time that Ellie is telling her story. So we can do this one or we can stand on our foot. But the rule is you have to be doing that movement for the whole time that Ellie is telling her story. Are you ready? Get yourself positioned and we're going to listen to Ellie's story now.
Hi, my name is Ellie. I'm 12 years old and I'm in 7th grade. I'm adopted from Malaysia and I live with my parents, my older sister Grace, and my dog in Connecticut. All throughout my life, we lived and traveled all over the world. We have lived in Asia, Europe, and North America. This whole journey experience started with a fun vacation in Mexico because my mom used to come here when she was younger. At that time, she had met a really close friend and they hadn't seen each other in 20-something years. So, in April 2018, we went to Mexico for a family vacation. We met his family along with his kids, and soon we all became really good friends, language barrier and all. When we left, Grace and I didn't really think anything about Mexico, but my parents had plenty of ideas. When we were in the airport going back to Connecticut, my parents told Grace and I that they were considering moving to Mexico for 10 months. I was shocked and thought it was a joke. I didn't want to believe it, and when I started to process it, I felt like my life was going to end. They said that we would be going to learn Spanish, and I remember saying, learning and speaking Spanish seems impossible. And the thing was, I 100% believed it too. The summer passed by fast, and when August 25th came, we boarded our flight and arrived in Mexico. On August 27th, we had our first day of school, and it was super rough. I didn't know any Spanish, besides the basic hola and cómo estás, and school was so difficult. Imagine sitting in 8 classes, 50 minutes each, and not understanding a single word. Every day when I got home, I felt like crying. I missed my dad, my friends, and my dog so much. All I wanted to do was go back to Connecticut and return to my normal life. The first days, weeks, and months were definitely the hardest. I felt defeated every day after school. I felt like not trying and quitting. I felt like I wasn't making any progress and that this whole thing was impossible. And at first, I didn't even want to try. I felt like I was dragged into this new life against my own will. I didn't want to learn Spanish at all, and I just wanted to finish the year and be done with everything. Speaking Spanish was never really the hard part for me because I was never really afraid of talking. But every day, my mom would tell Grace and I that we needed to make the best of our situation because I was miserable. So I decided to open my mind and I decided that I was going to. As the days went on, things got easier. I began to understand so much more, I engaged more with my friends, and school started to get so much easier. So now, school is a comfortable place to be in. My grades are far better than I could ever have imagined. I have great relationships with my friends. My gymnastics is my happy place, and I'm sure that I've made the best out of this situation. I've completed my goal of learning Spanish, and without a doubt, I'm going to miss it here. That fact alone surprised me so much. I started this journey off thinking that I was going to hate it here, and now I'm going to miss every single day, my friends, tons of memories, and so much more. I've learned so many life lessons all throughout these 10 months and have grown as a person. The most important life lessons that I've learned are that when you find yourself in tough situations, you have to keep going, and that you have to make the best out of every situation, even ones that you feel like were the end of the world. And that you can do anything that you put your mind to, even things that seem impossible. Besides, I can speak Spanish now.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk about some of Ellie's experiences and some of the things that she learnt during her difficult situation. So the first thing Ellie said was, when you find yourself in tough situations, you have to keep going. The second thing she said was you have to make the best of every situation, even the ones that you feel like are the end of the world. And the third thing she said was, you can do anything you put your mind to, even things that seem impossible. So maybe when you're learning from home, maybe you do come across tough situations. But Ellie's saying from her experience that if you put your mind to it, even impossible things can become possible. And that's what a growth mindset is all about. It's all about saying, yes, I can do it. I can try. I can put the effort in. This is not impossible. This is possible. Maybe you need to ask for help to make it possible, but the situation is possible. All right, I wonder, as you're listening to Ellie's story, did you find it hard to keep opening and closing your fist like this? Did you find it hard to stand on one foot? You had to be determined and persevere, didn't you? That's just like what Ellie had to do. So what was one of Ellie's biggest challenges when she started school in Mexico? Her biggest challenge was that she didn't speak any Spanish. Now in Mexico, in the schools, they speak Spanish. How do you think Ellie must have felt when she arrived on her first day and couldn't understand anything? That must have been overwhelming, maybe a little bit scary as well. So, did Ellie say that learning Spanish was easy and adjusting to her new life was a breeze? No, she said it was really hard. But did Ellie succeed at adapting to her new life? Yes, she did. She learnt Spanish, she made new friends, and she started to say that school was actually good. And what surprised Ellie at the end of her time in Mexico was that she would miss it. She would miss her friends, she would miss her school. Ellie was able to adapt to her new situation even though it was tough. What a great story. So there's a saying. It says, in the gym, the weights don't get easier to lift, you get stronger. In life, difficult things are still difficult, but you can get stronger to deal with them. When we exercise, what happens to our bodies? Well, our muscles get stronger, don't they? And we become healthier people. Let's think about weightlifters for a moment. They can't automatically lift the very big heavy weights on the first day that they try. Of course not. They need to get their bodies to a point where they're strong enough to be able to lift these big weights. And so they spend many, many years getting their bodies stronger. They start with smaller weights, and when their body can lift that smaller weight, slowly, bit by bit, they increase the weight until their bodies are very, very strong. You know, sometimes difficult things in our life feel like heavy weights as well. Maybe it's not learning a new language like me or Ellie. Maybe it's maths or spelling or working things out with your friends. But one thing is for sure, just like these weightlifters and just like Ellie, if we are determined and don't give up, we will grow. And as we grow, these weights will become easier to lift. These difficult things will become easier to handle. I wonder, do you know what size your brain is? The brain is about the same size as your two fists put together. Okay, can you see? That's about how big my brain is. I wonder maybe if you can put your fists together to see how big your brain is. Now, how many of you have gotten taller in the last month, in the last 2 months? How much taller have you gotten? My son, in 1 whole year, has grown about 9 centimeters. That is huge. He is taller than me now. How many of you have really long hair? Because, well, lockdown has happened and you can't get your hair cut. I know my hair is getting much longer. You see, our bodies grow really quickly, right? But I'm curious, do you know if our brains grow? In the first 5 years of life, our brains grow to almost full adult size. So as we grow, actually our brains are not so much growing in size, like physically like our bodies, but they can grow in a different way. Now let's have a look at this video clip because this shows you exactly how our brains can grow.
So this is your brain. Say hi. Okay, it's a representation of your brain. Brains don't have hands, they have lobes and other structures, which we'll get to. But I want to talk to you about your brain. You see, your brain is capable of incredible things. But I think a lot of times we can feel pretty down on our brains, on old Thinky Pinky here. We beat up on them, say bad things about our brain's abilities. You know, say we have trouble understanding a subject in school, or solving problems, or learning a new skill. It's easy to say, oh, I'm not smart. I'll always be this way. Hey, stop doing that. What we think of as intelligence, what we think of as smartness, is not fixed, is not stuck in one place, is not permanent. Your brain can improve. Your brain can grow. Come with me on a journey of discovery. Here we go, into the brain. Excuse me, coming in hot. This is a thing called a neuron. Oh, hey, welcome to the inside of your brain. A neuron is a brain cell. There's over 100 billion of these things making up your brain. Put it this way, there are over 13 times more neurons in your skull than there are human beings on Earth. A lot of them. They're the cells that help you think. Mind you, a single neuron, and let's call her Nellie. Hi, Nellie the neuron. Nellie, on her own, can't do all the thinking your brain needs to even pick up a glass of water. Fortunately, she's got friends. There's Dendrite Dave, there's Alonzo the axon, there's Magna Myelin, and look, little Sally Synapse, so teensy tiny. Your brain behaves like a muscle. If you're serious about lifting weights, right, and you keep it up on a regular basis for a long period of time, weeks, months, years, you're going to develop muscles. But you don't grow muscles by doing nothing. It takes effort. It takes struggle, repeated failures, in fact. You mess up, and then you learn, and then eventually you manage to jump the log or whatever problem you're trying to solve. Wait, we've lost focus here. Back to neurons. When you struggle, your neurons are struggling too, and that's important because when neurons struggle, they lean on each other. They make connections. They start to form this densely connected network inside your brain, allowing little jolts of electricity to pass down them more and more efficiently. That's thinking faster. That's your brain getting smarter. That's your brain muscle getting swole, kid. So the next time you say to yourself, I can't do this, I'm just too dense, remember that brain density is your friend. In fact, the denser you are, the more connections between Nellie and her neuron pals that you've got inside your brain, the stronger and more powerful your thinking parts become. The more you work through your frustrations with the right learning strategies, the more your neurons get more used to working together, the closer you are to being that much smarter. Now get out there and do your best. Don't give up, grow those brains, and remember, you can learn anything.
I wonder, have you learned anything that seemed really impossible to begin with? What was your journey like? What does that look like for you from start to finish? Maybe it might be a good idea for you to write down what your journey was from doing an impossible thing and making it possible. Because you can look at that and you can pat yourself on the back and say, wow, I have achieved something that was impossible. And maybe you can use that story as well, just like Ellie did, to encourage somebody else who might be facing an impossible situation. You know, I've been thinking about you and me and all of our teachers in lockdown. Actually, we are champions. We have learnt some brand new amazing things. We have grown our brains during this lockdown time. You have been learning how to work from home or work from your iPad at school, and you've faced some very difficult challenges. You have done some tasks that have seemed overwhelming. You've learned how to deal with some technology that was really hard to use. But guess what? You did it. You are a champion. Well done. You know, when we learn something new, just like when I keep learning my Chinese, this means that our brains are growing. Even as an adult, my brain is growing. Our teachers' brains are growing. Your parents' brains are growing. You see, we have the opportunity to never stop learning, and it's learning that helps our brains grow. But we need to be determined and never give up on the thing that we are learning. We also need to give our brains time to grow. We need to give them time to learn. You can't go to the gym for one day and expect that you're going to immediately have giant muscles. It just doesn't work that way. Muscles and brains need time to grow. So just like exercise builds muscles, learning builds our brains. So guys, keep learning. Keep being determined and persevere. Give your brain time to learn and grow. And cheer your brain on. Encourage it to keep going. We do this when we think good thoughts. We think positive and encouraging thoughts. We tell ourselves we can do it. I can do this challenge. Maybe I need help to do this challenge. Maybe I need to think about this task in a different way. But I can do it. It is possible. And you know what? When your brain is feeling a little bit tired, you need to give it a break. Go get some fresh air. Get your body moving. This is what we do after we have a long running race. We sit down at the other end, we catch our breath, we have a drink, we take a break. If your brain has run a long race, actually you need to give it a break before it can get back into running again. Also, you can ask for someone else's help, someone else's brain to help you solve a problem. Remember that 2 heads are better than 1. All right, it's been so much fun talking to you today. Let's give a quick recap. Learning takes determination and perseverance. Learning takes a growth mindset that says, I can do this. It is possible. Never give up. Learning takes time and effort. We need to give our brains time to grow. As your brain is growing, cheer it on. Encourage it with positive words. And remember something, this is your brain, you are growing, and you can do this. You are amazing. All right, that's all from me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye-bye.